tried to warn them. They didn't listen.
Yeah!
Every week, the Hoffman Show goes into the belly of the beast.
We read those comments, baby.
Never read the comments.
All right, it is that time. Here's how this works. We post the highlights of the show on the Team 980's YouTube page. We also post them on my YouTube page, at Craig Hoffman, where you can leave your comments, and then we collect the ones that we think are most interesting. I don't want to say the best necessarily. I don't want to say necessarily the worst, or they just are the ones that we think make for the best fodder. Bring up an interesting point. Bring up an interesting thought in my head to make a point. And then we respond to them live here on the radio, 5:30 on Wednesdays. Would love for you to join us live on YouTube or, of course, on your radio or the free Odyssey app. Anthony, this will stun you, but there was a lot of reaction to the segment with Linnell yesterday. It probably didn't hurt that we perhaps are a little guilty of a clickbaity headline. Linnell said it. What did you want me to do? Not use it?
I don't know.
I would say this. I would tell anybody who's mad at the headline to listen to the segment.
Yep.
All we did was ask a question. I hate that line so much. If someone else said that, I would rip them to shreds. We clickbaited you. I'm sorry. I'm going to own up to it. But Linnell said something that was, I thought, an overreaction and a bad headline, but actually an interesting take when you look at it. That question headline is Sam Howell holding the Commanders' offense back? On its surface, the answer is no, but let's dive into the comments and unpack it a little bit. Steven469 says, what an odd take after 6 to 7 games. Dude has done nothing but improve and make some high-level throws. If the sack issue continues, then I understand, but it's too early. Some of these also, actually, I think that one was in response to the Eric Eager segment when he said he's a backup, but kind of the same thing, right? Yeah, it's too early to make a definitive long-term declaration on Sam Howell. But if the sack issue, just say all he's done is improve, like, except for in one area that could end his career as a meaningful starter in the NFL. Like, that is a pretty big deal. He's taken 5 sacks the last couple weeks, and we're like, whew, that's better than what happened a couple weeks ago. That's not good. That is definitely not good. Situationally, some of those sacks have been really damaging. Like, he's got to get that figured out. But hopefully he will, because it is still early in his NFL career. It is 6/7, this year, the Dallas start in. So we'll see how that goes. At GBRV8IM says, I say you've got to get a better handle for me to read on the radio. But anyway, that person says, Sam Howell is basically a rookie. Sacks are not all Sam Howell's fault. Wide receivers have been having problems getting separation. The O-line is not that great. Give Sam a season before he's branded a backup. I'm an old guy, and I like what Sam has done operating in a new offense. Give him time to grow and get some experience in the NFL. Yes, he is a young guy. The receivers have had some issues, but like, they had 5 sacks on Sunday, and 4 of them were 100% on Sam. Like, it just worked. Like, he says set hut, the ball's in his hands. There's receivers open when the ball is supposed to come out, and he doesn't throw it. And then he steps up into a silly place and right into a defensive lineman. He can't figure out how to escape the pocket. Like, there's a multitude of issues that all are very interrelated. And it's mostly on him. But he is a young guy, so we'll see. And I do like 90% of his game. So I think that's probably worth mentioning and keeping in mind. All right, Silly Goose 2023 says, every team, this one's definitely on Linnell's, every team's quarterback is holding their team back to some degree if his name isn't one of the big 5. I think that's also a very good point. And Silly Goose, this will stun you, Anthony. Silly Goose often makes some very silly points. Silly Goose is a frequent commenter. And often I respond to his silly comments by going, you're a silly commenter, Silly Goose. This was a good point by Silly Goose. Like, this is the league to some extent. There's going to be moments in every game where even the top 5 guys, even the greats, I remember years ago watching tape of a Commanders or a Washington Patriots game and watching Brady miss stuff. And you're like, whoa, maybe I should be lighter on Kirk Cousins when he misses a deep ball because Tom Brady just missed one too. Oh. Because here's the thing about, like, dirty secret about the NFL. Every play is designed to work. If you execute a play perfectly, 95% of them are designed to get touchdowns if you hit the exact thing you want. And the rest of them have ways to get touchdowns. Like, oh, this is kind of designed to be a 12-yard out route. But if you hit it just right against the right coverage, you can just slip one tackle. Like, you got people in position to block downfield, perhaps to clear the safety and get the next touchdown. Get the touchdown in the end. Like, every play is designed to work perfectly. And very few of them do on the perfect scale. The goal really is for it to work well enough to get the yardage desired on any given play. And so how consistently your quarterback reads it right and makes an accurate throw is kind of how this works. And the Patrick Mahomes and the Josh Allens and the Drew Breeses and the Tom Brady's and the Peyton Mannings, they do that at an exceptionally high rate. Other quarterbacks, their undoing is the high-profile mistakes. A guy like Howell, for instance, sacks that just kill you, and others are more of just like, oh, you just miss a throw. It's just like, it's not good enough. They don't take catastrophic plays, but they just don't make enough good ones to really make an offense work. So I think that's a good point by the one and only Silly Goose. Then, Anthony, we had this. Comment fight!
There was people fighting in the comments?
Oh, yeah. This is some of my favorites. This actually, I don't know if this was a fight. This is just like two dudes fighting. This was like First Take or whatever that Fox show is in the comments. Back and forth. But I think it's interesting, and I think we should go into it. So Doker 3340 says, Craig, some of our fans have thought since day one we got some monster franchise steal of the draft, probably because he played locally at UNC. I don't know how local UNC is, but we'll leave that for another day. It wasn't really based on reality. Sam Howell wasn't a first-round pick. He is a fifth-round pick who is bottom third in the league. Of course he is holding us back, and ask yourself how many teams would swap QB for QB with us. And then, I'm not making this up, Wham Bam 21. Wham Bam! Pow! Comes in. I wouldn't swap Sam with. And then he lists 13 quarterbacks. Anthony, I think we should go through them one by one.
Let's go.
All right. Would you trade Sam? And I'm going to say contract included. Contract, age, all a factor. Sam for Jimmy G.
No.
Give me Sam. Ritter, Jimmy G.
Sam.
Jordan Love.
Sam.
I would take Jordan Love.
Okay.
Although it's really close, and you do have to pay Love next year, so maybe not. Justin Fields.
That one's interesting.
It's super interesting.
I'd
probably take Fields.
He's on his last year? Or he's in his contract year?
Does he have one more? I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah,
But even then, like, if you give me Fields and Bieniemy,
I think I'm going with Fields.
I think I'd go with Fields. Bryce Young. Give me Bryce. I know he's been awful.
Yeah, Bryce is just so young.
He was a number one overall pick this year. Daniel Jones.
But he also has a big contract, so I think I go.
Bryce?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. He's the first overall pick. He's on a rookie deal.
It's still like $30 million.
No, it's $30 million total.
Oh, it's total.
Yeah, no, not per year.
I was about to say.
No, he's like 30 total.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, Bryce Young.
All right.
I'm not going to let you say something that silly.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones.
Sam.
Correct. Kyler Murray.
Interesting.
If he's healthy, Kyler, even with the
going
contract, but I don't know, so I'm going to take Sam. I also don't really love Kyler as a leader. So there, I said it.
Yep.
Sam. Zach Wilson.
Sam.
Kenny Pickett.
Sam.
Russell Wilson.
Sam.
Tannehill.
Sam.
Derek Carr.
Sam
because of contract, although that one's a harder sell. And if you're a veteran team, I'd take Derek Carr. This team, give me Sam Howell. So we're still there on like 10 or 11 of those 13. So I think we're with Wham Bam 21 here. Oh, Wham Bam. Sorry, Doke Doker. What a silly segment this is. As if Doke Doker wasn't enough. Again, it's too stupid to make up. The next handle that I have down, Johnny Donnie. John Donnie 443. I wonder if he's a Syracuse person. 443. Remember, all campus numbers started with 443?
That or 315.
Well, 315 is the area code. So it's 315-443.
Oh, yep.
Yada, yada, yada.
Dang,
Z89's calling numbers. 315-443-4487. So remember that one.
You should call in sometime.
Maybe I will. I'll request a song on my college radio station. The sacks are due to essentially a rookie QB, an O-line that is still gelling, a new OC who has not found a balance and needs to scheme up ways to help his young QB out as he develops. Matt Ryan was constantly saying there is no one open. The blame falls on all of them. They will figure it out. Sam will come out the other side. A damn good QB. Only a slack-jawed pinhead would move off Sam for a career journeyman. Please. A slack-jawed pinhead, Anthony. Damn. Harsh. This was like my biggest piece of pushback on the way Linnell phrased his take. Linnell brought up, it was like bad headline, good article. Many, many good points by Linnell. But to me, when you phrase it as like this quarterback is holding the offense back, it presents as if there's another option that is better. And Linnell agreed with me that Jacoby Brissett would present a different set of challenges that would ultimately be a worse result for this offense. He would not take as many sacks. And I think that's an important point to point out. If we isolate all the way down just into one thing, the sacks would come down if Jacoby Brissett was in. He gets rid of the ball faster, he's a veteran, he knows where to go, and he probably throws with more anticipation. So, because of that, it is further evidence, it should cement the fact, as long as you agree with that, which if you don't, I guess it's your prerogative because we don't have the two situations 100% playing out in front of us, but they do have that in Carolina, where Andy Dalton came in and took less sacks than Bryce Young behind the same exact O-line, and there is mountains of data throughout NFL history that sacks are a quarterback-driven sack. So just take my word for it because that's what the information says. Jacoby would take less sacks, and it should show you just how good this line is pass protection-wise, or how good they've been this year. But he would not make some of the throws that Sam is throwing. Like the touchdown to Terry a couple weeks ago against the Broncos. Are you kidding me? Jacoby's not making that throw. Jacoby's got a great arm, but that's a Sam Howell throw. The throw to Bates up the sideline. Some of these other throws on the move that are just crazy. I mean, the one that Jahan drops last week. Jacoby's not making that throw. Sam is. Hopefully next time Jahan will catch it. But Sam is the best guy for this offense that they could possibly have right now. There's no one they could trade for. There's no one that they could call up from the practice squad. Jake Fromhive. There's no backup in Jacoby. They couldn't have kept Taylor Heineke and had to be better. So all the Taylor Heineke stands that I just will never acknowledge in this segment directly, even though you guys can't stop leaving stupid comments on these videos. Sam's the best guy that they could have possibly had for this season. And hopefully he'll continue to get better. As far as the O-line goes, had some other thoughts on that. King of PKF, I think my issue with the line is despite how well they've pass blocked, they've been mediocre to bad at run blocking most of these games. The best two run blocking games were against Buffalo in the defensive sets, where they dared them to run, and the Broncos, who allowed 5 TDs rushing to the Dolphins. They get no push in the run game, which means our offense gets predictable because nobody is scared of 2 to 3 yards rushing. Here's the thing about their run game. Logan goes mega deep on this on Take Command that's out now, and we might even play some of this for you next. I can't remember which segment we picked for the radio show today. But we have all been trained, you run to set up the pass. You got to run the football early, and then that'll bring the safeties up and open up play action shots. That's not how this team works. That is not how the Andy Reid tree of West Coast offense operates. You pass to set up the run. And so a game like Arizona, where they ran it well in the second half, a game like Denver, where they ran it well in the second half, is the actual plan. And look, this is taking me some time to get used to as well. And I don't know that philosophically I fully agree with it, if I'm being totally honest. But I'm me, and Eric Bieniemy's got Super Bowl rings. So I'm just going to have to get used to it. I think both philosophies can work. This isn't the approach I would take if I was an OC, but I understand why it works. The thought is, if you can pass early and get easy completions, eventually teams will start to dedicate more. One, the pass game is more efficient, more explosive, so hopefully you'll score and be up in the game. And two, they'll start to dedicate more resources to the pass and give you easy rushing yards later in the game. So how does that mesh with having a young quarterback who can be greatly benefited by having some of the mental load taken off of him with an effective run game? That's the question. And by the way, this team is better running the football per carry than many of you seem to realize. And that's, I get it. People are busy. Like, you're going off what it feels like. And they're only averaging like 87 yards rushing a game. So it feels really bad. But like, Chris Rodriguez snapped off a double-digit yard carry, and Antonio Gibson had like a nice solid 9-yarder, and B-Rob had a couple of nice little 4, 5, 6, 7-yard chunks. And the reality is they're averaging 4.3 a carry, and Sam's rushes have helped that. Some of the off-schedule stuff, of course, has helped that, but like, they're averaging 4.3 a carry in total. They've had some explosive runs. So how do they get more of those and keep the balance and still be who they want to be from an identity standpoint? This is not a team that is built to run the football, from how their offense is installed. And so I think that when people criticize the O-line for that, I don't really actually think it's that much of an O-line issue. Like, yeah, of course they could block better. Like, no one should be in the analyst world trying to tell you that this O-line is actually as good as Philly. It's just that they're not as bad. Like, if you want to see bad O-line play, watch what happens with the Giants this weekend. Or there needs to be real significant changes on the defensive line, staff. Like, something needs to change if the Commanders' defense does not dominate up front this weekend. The Giants' O-line is like abysmally terrible. Watch them play and then go watch. And I know they play better against Buffalo as a team, but like, watch the Giants' O-line, then watch the Commanders and understand the difference. That's what I would say. IRJ, oh no, we went the wrong direction. Where did that comment go? IRJ7191 says, in response to the video, our interview with Michael Phillips, who said during the interview, and I actually wonder if Michael would backtrack on this, having had a chance to watch the tape now, but based off of what happened, and part of this was like just reading the fan base, right? But Michael did say in the interview, hey, Jack Del Rio's lucky they won that game, because otherwise I wonder if he's going to get fired. But IRJ7191 says, I can't figure this fan base or this area media out. I'm not a fan of Ron or Del Rio, but this team went on the road and just beat a very talented Falcons team. Ritter may not be a good quarterback yet, but he has talented players surrounding him. His starting receivers and tight ends are over the height of 6'2", plus they have very good running backs. Was anyone expecting a blowout? The defense gave up yardage, but had 3 interceptions. The only problem I had in the game was that our offense went cold in the second half, and Howell continues to hold the ball too long. I actually think that's like way more accurate than a lot of people think. A lot of people think this defense really struggled against Atlanta. And like, yeah, they gave up some yardage, but they were on the field forever because the offense was terrible in the second half. They were in 3rd and long constantly and could not convert. And because of that, Atlanta ran 79 plays. They averaged 5.1 yards a play, which is league average. And because they ran 79 plays, that was good for 400 yards. That's what happened. Like, could they have gotten off the field faster? Sure, defensively. But they also, like, the other thing that I think people get twisted is they think that this defense is, like, built to be some freakishly dominant unit that just crushes people all the time. And I think reputationally, that's who they want you to think they are. But they're a bend but don't break unit the way they call it. And they played that perfectly on Sunday because they knew Desmond Ritter, when it came to crunch time, couldn't beat him. And that's exactly what happened. I did think this was a very interesting point by Luck5099. Maybe if Jack was calling the defense that way, aggressively, like he did on Sunday with some of the extra pressures, Forbes might have got off to a better start. That is an interesting thing. It is something I think we should monitor this week if he's back and Kendall Fuller is out. He did miss Wednesday, Fuller with a knee injury, so we'll see if we can get an update on that. But Forbes is a guy that, with pressure, that ability to jump routes and anticipate is going to become way more dangerous. So it is something where they played a lot. He didn't seem to have those opportunities, I would say, earlier in the year. Did it, I think in the Denver game and had a pick. So we'll see. And then comment of the week. Typically we do a silly slash just terribly dumb comment, Anthony. But this one was actually a good comment. We had our guy DA, David Aldridge, on, the Hall of Famer from the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame, who's now writing locally about all the teams for The Athletic. And Vanta Black 9535 said, if media members had stats, DA would be Brian Mitchell.
Wow. That's high praise.
That is. But that's true. Actually, here's how I was like, how do I phrase this? It doesn't sound like a shot at B. Mitch, because I'm not trying to take a shot at B. Mitch. That is true, which is why B. Mitch should also be in the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. What are we doing? The man has the second most all-purpose yards in the history of the sport. That seems very silly. Because, I know this point is to score, but like getting a lot of yardage is important. And there's one dude ever who had more yards in the NFL. And Brian Mitchell, don't ever forget it.
What's up, kiddos? It's your boy Clinton Yates from ESPN. It's the Hoffman Show on the Team 980. Tell your mama I said what's up.